please.
Sisson.
Here.
Zumwalt.
Here.
Garrow.
Here.
Huffman.
Here.
Hughes.
Present.
Garcia. Not present. Holloway.
Here.
Kellenberg. Kellenberg's not here yet.
All right, so we have a quorum. Next up, I will do our city report here real quick. First and foremost, happy 4th of July. This is a big one for the country, the 250th anniversary of the United States. And in Litchfield at the lake, I invite you all to come out there on the 4th. We're of course going to have the fireworks starting at 9:30. They always put on a great show out there. They'll have live music from 7 to 9:30 at the lake for the family to come and enjoy. And this is a new one, Stacy. You might want to chime in. There's a foam and bubble party from 6:30 to 9.
Right, they're gonna have a 40 by 40 area set up for all the kids. They'll shoot off foam every half hour that they just dive into and play, and then they shoot big bubbles that you know, these huge, great big things. And it's gonna go on from 6:30 to 9.
Perfect. That sounds like fun. And of course, there's going to be food trucks and all kinds of stuff to eat out there for the big 250th 4th of July show out at the lake. And then on the day after, on Sunday, there'll be a special reading by Mr. Thomas Jefferson on the steps of the Carnegie Building to celebrate that historic document that kicked it all off. I'm really looking forward to Mr. Jefferson reading that. Rumor has it George Washington is going to be there as well, keeping the British at bay. So that'll be Sunday, the day after at 1 o'clock to come out there. And another thing that I want to bring up to the public, you know, we all want to celebrate. It's a big holiday, but do it respectfully. You know, celebrate the country, but remember there's veterans and pets out there that suffer greatly whenever you do these things. PTSD is a real thing for those veterans. Please think of them before you shoot off those fireworks at all hours of the night. And of course, we all love our fur babies. A lot of them don't react that well to the fireworks. So please keep that in mind. Our police are of course going to enforce the law, but we really need you as citizens to try and follow the rules to the best of your abilities, because we have a limited amount of police and there's a lot of emergencies and stuff going on that day. So please just be respectful, celebrate America, but please keep those in mind as you celebrate. Anything else from the floor?
I had a few questions.
Yeah.
If I could real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so some questions that came to me from citizens who reached out about these issues. I wanted to just kind of see where we were standing on these. First of all, I wanted to start with this one. Someone had asked me about what was the status on the plant that goes out across the interstate. What do we know, and when are they getting closer? What's happening there?
Yes, the National Primers ammunition facility is still a go. So last that I had heard, they had reached out to our fire chief with some inquiries on receiving their federal fire permitting. And then they also we've had some inquiries, fielded inquiries about, it sounds like they've put their building specs out. So we've had a couple builders bidding on that who are considering fire suppression. So we do have strong indications that it's a go, and we still have had open communication with them, and they've indicated nothing else, so we're excited.
Thank you. The second question I had was a couple of people had reached out and said, "Hey, I still saw the $5 fee on my water bill."
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain a little bit about when that's going to change for the public?
Absolutely. So the $5 fee goes away when the new rates go into effect. So that is the next billing cycle. So on the bills due August 10th, which are the next bills to be sent out, you will not see that $5 fee at that point.
Thank you. I also had some that reached out and talked about the conditions of State Street. If you've been down there, it's kind of wild sometimes. Can we get kind of an update on the status of like when do we see that kind of finishing out or rolling out? When would that likely be done? I realize there are contingencies, but yeah.
So we anticipate that they will finish up next week. It may spill into the following week. So 2 weeks at a maximum, and then all that will be left will be the decorative bid work. Stutz received the bids on that, so they'll be coming in afterward, and then replacing the decorative brick within the sidewalks. So we are definitely near the finish line.
And my last question, at least for this moment, is on my own street, Monroe Street, and some of the streets there on the north side. I know last year things didn't go as planned when things were rocked and chipped, and we know that there's some need there to go back and do those kind of repairs. I know last time I think I brought up, you had mentioned the engineers, you know, have a conversation with them. Do you have any updates for Monroe and some of those streets around Monroe and
Yes.
Jackson and others?
Yes, so we worked with HMG engineers, they help out with, a lot of our engineering design for projects. They were able to come up with with an oil and a rock that will be compatible. We will be redoing all of those streets that were oil and chipped last year. And that will be, they're timing it with the weather, typically that happens mid to late August, weather depending, but all of those streets are being redone late summer.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, a few things. One is we had talked about maybe the bid going out this month, I believe, for North Monroe, that cul-de-sac up north. Is that still on plan, on target?
Yes, it is absolutely in the budget. That's one of the first projects that I'll be having our public works director tackle, so we have not yet put out the bid, but it is absolutely being redone this fiscal year.
And then finally, I wanna give a shout out to you and the entire street department, because I have come to you 2-3 times at least over the course of the last month with, road condition issues, culvert issues, and they have been out there the next day and addressed it. So I just wanna say thank you for taking care of the people of Litchfield, and that's appreciated.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you for bringing that up. Any further discussion from the floor? All right, hearing none, did anybody sign up for public participation? Officer Lamb, did anybody sign up next to you over there?
Nobody. No, sir.
Oh, nobody signed up, perfect. All right, next on the list, we have an appointment. You'll see to my left here is Mr. Kerry Hopkins, and we have to officially swear him in. So if you want, my friend, head on up and swear you in. As city clerk. Front and center.
And maybe so you can try that.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Kerry Hopkins,
having been appointed to the office of city clerk
having been appointed to office of city clerk
in the city of Litchfield
in the city of Litchfield
of Montgomery County, Illinois, aforesaid,
of Montgomery County, Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly
swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of clerk in the city of Litchfield
of the office of clerk in the city of Litchfield
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Welcome this time.
Sir, welcome aboard.
And for the public, last week, we did, as a council, approve Kerry. That's why we didn't discuss it. Usually right before we'll approve and then appoint in, but we did that at our last meeting, and then we just swore in Kerry just now, and I think he's gonna do a wonderful job. And just one more time, I wanna give a shout out to Vicki Throne, who filled in for us in our time of need, and she's had to step back to be with family. So thank you to Kerry and Vicki, and I'm looking forward to some great things. Moving on, we'll move on to other business. First, we'll need a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes from the June 18th, 2026 meeting. Would someone like to make a motion to that effect? Alderperson Garrell with a first, and Alderperson Zumwalt with a second there. So Garrell and Zumwalt. Any discussion or amendments to those minutes? Roll call, please.
Holloway,
Aye.
Kellenberger's not here. Sisson,
Aye. Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Carroll,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Hughes,
Aye.
Alright, motion carries. Next, we'll need a motion to approve the expenditure reports and payroll report for the current period. Can I get a motion to that effect, please? Alright, Alderperson Huffman, and it looked like Alderperson Sisson was the second there. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call please.
Holloway,
Aye.
Sisson,
Aye.
Sumall,
Aye.
Carroll,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Hughes.
Alright, motion carries. There is no old business, so we'll move on to new business. And item number 1 is a code enforcement update with our ordinance officer, Shane Grammer. And before Shane gets up there, I just want to note for the public, this was an important thing for the council as a whole, just because I believe there's been a lot of misinformation out there. We want to go right to the source to our ordinance officer to explain to the public just what he does every day, the time frames we're dealing with, because we live in a world of instant gratification. You see something, you post about it, you get it, okay? And unfortunately, when you're dealing with government and rules and things like that, it doesn't always just happen like that, and I think a lot of people expect that. So Shane's gonna come up here and kind of go over the data and what he does every day, just to clarify things for the public. So, take it away, Shane.
And before Shane gets started, I do also have a code enforcement report from our attorneys that I will pass around for you.
Oh, perfect.
Do you want me to do that?
We'll pass around, so all good. Thank you, Shane.
Yeah.
And I do, before Shane starts and you're passing this around, I want to give Shane a special shout out. Yesterday we had a code issue that I really wanted to get fixed before the 4th of July. And Officer Grammer did everything he possibly could, got out of his work clothes and went to clean up a yard on his own. A lot of stuff was in the way, so a company could come and mow a yard in a high visibility area. So Officer Grammer, I wanted to just give you a special shout out for doing that this week. So.
Yeah, whatever needs done.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Officer Shane Grammer. I'm in my 24th year with the City of Litchfield as of June 16th. City Council, thank you for allowing me to come update you and maybe straighten out some things that are concerned with the ordinance position. Social media, my social media warriors, thank you for showing up. And use on YouTube. Thank you very much. Okay, so the big question is, yes, I'm still a police officer. I just got the new position of ordinance officer. So currently, you guys are going to see on your sheets, I have 54 active cases that I'm working myself. Okay, you're going to see some of them say 2025. And that's gonna make sense here in a little bit. Okay, yeah, you're gonna see that it's a running sheet. So, the past 90 days, the Litchfield Police Department has 1,993 calls for service from April 1st to June 30th. That's 22.14 calls a day. On top of me doing my ordinance, I also have the obligation to help the police department. So, since we're short-staffed, everybody knows we're short-staffed, when they're busy, I still handle walk-in calls. I still handle phone calls from insurance companies want reports, citizens want reports. I still attend every traffic crash to help with traffic. Because you want to lose faith in humanity, direct traffic during a crash. I promise. So I still do that. In addition, I also am still the quartermaster and the range master. So the past couple months we've been doing qualifications. We just got new red dots on our rifles. So a couple officers at a time, I'm going out to the range, deciding their red dots, and requalifying them on the rifles. So, in a perfect world, 100% fully staffed, I can devote all my time to ordinance. But as of right now, I have to prioritize. So, in the prioritizing, I understand that your neighbor's tall grass next door is a problem for you at this time, right? So, what I need everybody to understand is I have 54 other problems right now. Caving in roofs, siding, porches, inoperable vehicles. I'm not saying that your tall grass isn't important, it's just I have to prioritize some things. I will get to it, I promise. Like the mayor and I talked about, it will get taken care of, I promise.
And Shane, can I ask you this while you're in the room? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Okay, the best way is to call 217-324-8159. If I do not answer, please leave a message. I write down all my messages on my little notebook. Also, sgrammar@cityoflitchfieldil.com is another great way. And also, the city has a complaint form on the city website that you can fill out. Connie forwards me every ordinance complaint.
Shane, was that a 324 number, that 8159?
Yes, okay, 217-324-8159. Now, many of you may be aware, or maybe not, the state of Illinois has granted the city of Litchfield this Strong Communities Grant. Strong Communities Grant allows Gary and I to have houses that are unrepairable, or responsible landlords want to tear down a house. The Strong Communities Grant pays for the asbestos inspection, pays for the asbestos removal, tears down the house and any outbuildings on it. This is only possible with the amazing grant writing skills of our previous city administrator and our current city administrator. So we have 20, since I've been doing it, we have 20 that's either gonna be torn down or is already torn down. The problem we're having now is the asbestos inspections. The schools are out. There isn't very many companies that do that nasty asbestos stuff. So the schools are out, they're going into schools, check, make sure kids are safe. So Gary and I have to wait, or we're on a list for the asbestos companies to come down and do this.
So what you're saying is, so we have this great program, but you have to be proactive. It's not gonna happen instantly. You're gonna get
Correct.
signed up, and it could be 6 months, it could be a year.
Yes, there's one that's going on 3 years, but that's a story for a different day. Yeah, we don't want to get into that one. Okay, so now, with your sheet, there's a lot of negativity with social media, right? Because social media doesn't understand the process. So, I'm going to walk through the process. Does that make sense? Is that a good idea? I'm going to walk through the process with you guys. I need to spread more positivity. What social media doesn't see, and the council doesn't see, is the many face-to-face contacts I have with citizens that appreciate I've cleaned up their neighborhood. People that are unwilling or unable to talk to their neighbors, I have a nice positive conversation, and they usually clean up their yard, and they thank me for it. But unfortunately, that doesn't get clicks on social media, so trying to get that the positivity to go. All right, so I said in my newsletter that I want to thank you to the citizens that when I have a conversation with you, you just do it, right? I don't have to threaten warnings. Some people just need to be notified, like, hey, listen, your grass is tall, or hey, that vehicle's been sitting in your driveway for 2 months. You need to move it at least. Get the sticker up here. Okay, and a lot of my compliance has just been having conversations, but some of them conversations don't go very well. So I write you a written warning, and I wish I had an example for you guys, and I apologize. The written warning what I do is I go onto the city ordinance website, I highlight and copy what's wrong with your property, and then I put it on the written warning. So there's no questions. And then when I deliver it to you, I say, why don't you come outside? It's like, there's a house on the south end. Okay, the tarp that's attached to your roof, that's bad. Like I need roofs and drains. The windows that are falling out, that's windows. Your stairway that you have to jump up on, you might want to get those fixed. Like, word for word, I'm telling you what needs to be fixed. So, they're like, oh yeah, we'll fix it. Well, if it doesn't get fixed, then I give you a citation. Now I give you 5 to 15 days depending on the violation, and that's per the code. Like 5 days is grass. 15 days is like inoperable vehicles. If you have to replace your roof, I'm a little lenient on that. Like, I don't expect you to do it in 15 days. But I also tell everybody, I need to see some kind of progress. Like, if I come back weekly, I need some kind of progress. And then I'll pretty much leave you alone for a while. All right, so the citation. You get a citation. Unfortunately, ordinance is only 1 day a month. It's the first Tuesday in every month that is a court date. So if I write a citation on June 30th, and we'll say the person's not happy, his court date isn't until August 4th. So I have to go the next month, because in order for it to get to the circuit clerk's office and get in there, it doesn't happen until a month later. So, a month. Still hasn't fixed it. Refuses to fix it. Says we live in America. I don't have to. Okay, fine, so be it. But you have to understand, in that month we're waiting, I'm still getting phone calls. Why aren't you doing something? Why aren't you doing something? So what I need everybody to understand is I am doing something, just you don't see it. Social media doesn't see it. So unfortunately, now the council people, why isn't Officer Grammer doing anything? Then you come to me, and then I show you I am. You know what I mean? Okay, so, citation. We get to court. We either get tears, or we get anger. I had to stay out last week. I had to go out into the lobby 3 times because he kept yelling at the city attorney. I told him to knock it off, or leave. The judge will not put up with that. So, she handled herself very well. He came into court. He refused to touch his property for 8 months. We calculated $200,000 plus in fines. We settled for $3,500, and he has to sell the property first. But he did a trial date. He wanted a trial. So back months ago, we had the first thing. He got mad. I want to fight this. So the judge turns to his clerk and says, when's the next trial date? And they'll go September 1st. You know, it's 2-3 months out because the docket is so full. Ordinance doesn't take priority over felonies, misdemeanors. So now we have to wait 3 months until his day in court. In the meantime, I'm getting phone calls. Listen, I called 6 months ago. Why aren't you doing something? Yep, sir, I am doing something. You know, the court has to do this. Well, that's just dumb. I get it. But there's a process. There's a process to everything. People need to understand there's a process, right? Process with everything. Hey, getting your driver's license is a process. So, after the court, guilty. Most times it's guilty because I don't understand how you can fight an ordinance ticket. So, after all this said and done, come back. Now I have to wait for the sale of the property, or I have to wait for the consent demo to go through. I have to wait for the asbestos company to go through. I have to wait for the removal. I actually went to a house up on North Jackson with the asbestos company. That is nasty. They had to peel up floor. They had to take everything out of the house. But the grant pays for the asbestos removal. Now, we are waiting for the demo companies to now put us on their queue to knock down all these houses. But in the meantime, I'm still getting phone calls, or I'm still getting questions, why aren't you doing anything? So, the mayor and I talking yesterday, he come up with a pretty good idea, I will have to say. Frequent questions, answers and questions on the website. So, just about ordinance. He wants me to find the most problems I have, and then I'm gonna, on the website, you're gonna go and you're gonna show, I'm gonna show you the process. And then maybe that will answer some questions and maybe calm the social media stuff down for you guys. But frequent answers and questions, FAQs, like, I like that. So, all said and done, do you guys, any questions, comments, concerns?
Can I ask you a question just really quick, about the newspaper? I think a common theme people have said is does this kind of stuff show up in the newspaper like your typical traffic violations when people are pulled over? Okay, 'cause a lot of people say, nothing's happened in the paper, I don't see anybody getting ordinance violations, I didn't know if that's a thing.
So it does, it does. Cause my parents snapshotted me a citations I wrote to a house on Columbia Street. So it does, cause they asked where it was.
Kyle, Gary, I mean,
I didn't tell them.
you guys put, ordinance violations, I guess, in the,
Well, we put everything that we receive from the Litchfield Police Department in the paper, and also everything that goes through the Montgomery County Court, when the information that they give us.
okay, good. So it will be
Okay.
reported if we give you the report, it will be reported if there, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what newspaper it was. But that's a great question. And see, it needs to be out there.
I wanna make this stance for me personally
Yeah.
clear. So, my phone rings, I couldn't tell you, all the time. And a lot of times, it's not even my ward, right?
Uh-huh. But you're their go-to alderman.
Sure, and that's fine, I don't have a problem with that. I encourage this forum because I think the public needs to understand that there is a process, and some of it I didn't know, so I'm glad we had this discussion. And I know a lot of the times the frustration is, like you said, hey, my neighbor's grass isn't being mowed and there's nothing being done about it. When we, and I mean as a council, don't have the answers to the process or what's being done, you know, I don't think anybody, speaking for myself, and I'm assuming these guys don't question your integrity or don't question that you're not doing anything about it. It's that I think these active, proactive discussions about what is going on, and then we can take this back to constituents and say, well, actually you're wrong. We have 54 active cases going on right now, and that doesn't, so it's not a slight towards you, it's definitely just, it gives us some ability to combat these complaints.
Well, absolutely, and then, you know, with the technologies of modern society, like, people have to know information. And you'll see on this, there's the failure to maintain private properties, that is the big stuff. That is, all the junk on the front porch, all the clutter in the yard, roofs, drains, windows, doors, the failure to maintain private property, those are big. The health and safety of neighborhoods and the kids, that's why Gary and I are really hard on getting these houses down. Because there was a house on Walnut Street, 2 vagrants were in it. PD had to go down there and trespass them because they somehow got in the house and they went in the basement. I'm telling you, the front living room of this house is held up by a 2x4 in the basement, and the basement has 2 foot of water in it. The asbestos guys couldn't even get in there and fix it, but there was 2 people in there, and we got them out. So that house is coming down here very shortly.
And I also just wanna note on the, report from our attorneys on the court cases, I just went through and counted up how many citations have gone through the court process, and if I quickly counted correctly, it looks like there were about, 45 violations in 2026. Each of those violations take about 3 code enforcement attempts before we can even see the light of day in court. So I do want the public to know, we will go through as many as we can. plan at a time. They all just involve so many steps, except for the ones that, you know, we go, and some people just, maybe they didn't realize it was a violation, or sometimes if you live with something for so long, it takes someone else's eyes to recognize it's a problem. So, this is just, you know, the ones that we've had not compliance on, that we've had to go that far on. The other thing I would say is, you know, my door is always open to citizens, I know the councils are as well, but the fastest way to get a response on code enforcement is to go directly to the PD, to Shane.
Yeah.
Because if you're passing it along to one of us, then that's a step in the telephone game that's prolonging the process, and maybe we didn't recall something correctly, didn't convey it correctly, so please, I would encourage you, you know, utilize Shane's direct contact information, and then if you're having an issue, at that point, reach out. But I will say, whether your issue is big or small, you know, if you give Shane 48 working hours, I can guarantee he will, be making contact with that individual.
Yeah, and also, some people think that it's an ordinance violation, but it's actually something civil. Like right now, I'm dealing with a tree that's overhanging on somebody's property. You have complete right to trim that tree straight up your property, but he doesn't wanna pay a tree person to do that. So he wants me to step in and make the owner trim the tree. That's a civil issue, that's not an ordinance violation. So, it's taken several phone calls, but I think now he understands.
And I think, Shane, is it possible maybe to, I know you've provided one of these before, maybe quarterly we send one of these out to the council, so then when, you know, when you guys are getting questions on a specific property, you have this sheet to reference, and you can say, hey, I know that the status of this one is.
Yeah, cause I just updated it, so on the back page, what was the last one, 'cause I just did one.
6:30.
Yeah, 6:30, there you go.
But like, this is not comprehensive of the entire town, I mean, you still have property out there.
Yeah.
No,
I don't want people to think this is just it for the town, I mean, this is
You're
like,
right.
what he's gotten to so far.
And the other thing
Hopefully
is, I was just gonna say, the most important thing from the legal standpoint, okay, to Robin's point, okay? We're not looking to make money from this at all. That is honest to God, the last thing that we're looking for when it comes to code enforcement. We want compliance. These ordinance violations are here to remind everyone that they need to be a good neighbor. They need to keep their house in the same conditions as their neighbors' homes. There's a common code, it's online, everyone can figure it out. So we're not pursuing these things to try to make money from the situation. We're trying to remind people that they need to play by the rules, is the easiest way to say it. And these cases that you see, these are the tip of the iceberg. I mean, this guy's out there knocking on doors, talking to people. These are just the cases where that didn't work.
Correct.
Okay, like all the other stuff we were able to handle. And what we do with these cases, you know, sometimes we need to generate a bit of leverage to encourage people to do what it is that they need to do. So I just wanted to make the public aware of that as well. This is not a money grab. This is, hey, this is the mechanism that we've been given to encourage people to keep their houses up in a way that should make all of our neighborhoods look better in town.
Correct, and I've had so many conversations with taking pride in what you have. It takes no money to clean up your yard, okay?
The one last thing I had is it sounds like you're overwhelmed because you're also helping, the police department out and do other things, but as we staff the police department, hopefully can get you more time focused on ordinances, right? Can you please I don't know, just recommend to the council, recommend that when we come across an ordinance that is way outdated, that doesn't make any sense, that doesn't apply to the norms of the current society we live in.
Okay.
Can we get some sort of recommendation to clean some of that up?
Yes.
Because I have been called about ordinances that, I'm like, that's an ordinance?
Washing your horse in the lake, it's illegal. It's illegal.
So
Tying your horse up downtown
right.
is an ordinance.
So I just, you know, to clean up the bureaucracy and the nitpicking and I know just recently in my neighborhood, we had a situation where, and I get it, you know, parking on the sidewalk. I totally understand why that's frustrating, but, I mean, we can find things to nitpick about all day long, and I just would like some uniform cleanup. So if you come across something that like, you think this is just, why are we doing this? This is not even right to be having this
Change the
discussion, or change the wording. I would love the advice.
I think that's a wonderful point, I'm glad you brought that up, and one other thing, just for, and we're talking about enforcement on one end, I also wanna kinda emphasize the other end, which is, there are people out there that, it's a tough world economically, and they don't choose this, that it's just life happens, and so Shane, I know there's situations where you approach those people, and our first thing, to his point, is not fine, comply, it's, hey, there's an issue, what's going on? And there's been situations where nonprofits, churches, you've notified people,
Yes.
and good things have happened, correct?
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, I've reached out to churches. I've also reached out to TLC. They cleaned up a couple of yards for me. I will tell you that I went to a lady on Chestnut Street, and her grass was really tall. She actually got a pair of scissors and was cutting her weeds. So, what I did was, I gave her more than 5 days. Like, until she can get her nephew over, but she came out, she apologized, I didn't have to give a warning, nothing. She took some scissors and was cutting her weeds next to her front porch the next day. So, yeah, now you're making progress. I may not come back around your house for 10, 15 days, you know? That's just, this ordinance position is such a, I don't wanna say gray, but if you're working, this other person is flat out ignoring me, I'm gonna concentrate on this one, but if you're making progress, I usually, very lenient.
Unless it hinders life safety, that's when we don't have a choice. If it's a safety issue,
Zero choice.
we've gotta act on it. But yes, in an op world, it's something that we have leniency on, you know, we're.
Yep.
The other thing I wanna commend the council on is, having a code enforcement officer who is also a police officer who can directly write tickets, cuts out a tremendous amount of red tape. Because that's a problem in a lot of communities, and I think even here in Litchfield in the past, there was some lag time between when we would point something out and when we could then, because the police are busy. We've got a lot of police work to do, so I think this is a wonderful way to utilize your talents, and I've seen, in my position, we have definitely accelerated this since you've taken this position, and I think it's great.
Well, I appreciate that.
I personally want to thank you for letting him share the burden as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta
There
hear
wasn't
that.
a knock on, Gary's busy with 10 other
Yes, I
things.
gotta hear that, yes.
With all the construction
He needed
going on
help.
right now.
Well, perfect.
he's a lifesaver.
Yeah.
And it's the right man for the job.
Yeah, Gary spent most of his time out at Eagle Ridge.
Too much.
Keep 'em busy. Well,
Yes.
awesome, I think,
So any comments, questions, concerns, anything else?
thank you for your presentation.
What about you, big guy? You have a question for me?
He was part of the TLC group that I am.
Really?
Oh, you did help
Good
us.
job.
Yeah, buddy.
Awesome.
Now I appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's nice for me to have this resource, like this young man, it's nice for me to have a resource that I can call, so I don't have to write a ticket to somebody. Yeah, she was sick. Yeah, that's awesome.
We have a good partnership. We need to keep going.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, appreciate you.
You good?
Yep, you were good.
Alright, so, do you want social media to leave comments down below, or?
I'm sure they are.
Or like, what do you want them to do?
I'm sure.
Alright,
Send it directly to your email.
yes,
That's
straight to my email.
That's what we want.
I love it.
All right, thanks, Shane.
Alright,
Appreciate it.
guys,
Appreciate it.
thanks.
Good job, Brian.
All right, now we're gonna move on to, item number 2, Alderperson Gerald, please.
I make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing 3 change orders from Columbia Street reconstruction to Roosters Asphalt Incorporated for the amount not to exceed $130,062.72.
All right, we have a motion on the floor from Alderperson Gerald. Can I get a second, please? Alderperson Sisson seconds. Any discussion on this?
Yeah, I had a quick question, so this is a change order, wanted to kind of bring that up, because that is a kind of an issue that we've seen, some off and on. I mean, I know some of this cost would have went back in had we bid it and got it exactly right, like,
Sure.
what would we be saving if we didn't have this change order approximately?
Sure. So some change orders are, any large project, expect a couple change orders, because you get in there, there are some things that no matter how much, core sampling you do, things are unforeseen. Maybe a utility plan was incorrect, or, there's a collapse. So not all change orders means that, there wasn't adequate planning. In this case, the curb replacements, so that's something that could have been reasonably foreseeable, but we do feel that, for the residents in this area, the curb work does need replaced. If we wait a couple of years to come back and do that, then you're tearing out the pavement that we've just done, and it costs more money. So I wish it were included in the original scope. It was not. We do feel that it's a very fair price per foot that we're getting, thankfully, from the contractor. The other part was remediation work. So when they went down to mill the roadway, they found that the base was much more unstable than anticipated. So I went out there with the street superintendent. They showed us, they were proof rolling it. There really wasn't a rock base underneath there like had been anticipated. So that's two change orders, and then the curb work is another.
And in general, I just wanna make this point, so when you do an initial bid, okay, you have lots of people come in, usually it's more competitive.
Yeah.
Change orders are time sensitive, and they cost the public more money, correct, in general?
In general, yes.
Yes, and that, I think, Josh, you're kind of bringing this up, and just the amount of this change order, just, I know it's written out there, this was $130,000, a change order that was unexpected, that we had to do the job right. One thing that's coming up later in this meeting, and this is just a good segue since we're talking about it, is item number 8, we're approving, Director of Public Works. And one of the biggest things that gentleman is hopefully gonna do for us is control these change orders. His salary on there, which is coming up, is roughly $110,000, okay? We're being upfront with the public thinks, oh my gosh, I'll pay another position. Well, this was $130,000. If you look down this, if you look at almost every council agenda that we have, there's lots of change orders. And to Brianne's point, he's not gonna prevent all the change orders. You never know what you're gonna get sometimes, but he definitely can reduce the amount. And in my mind, that is gonna more than pay for himself. One thing I'm gonna guarantee you with the public is we're gonna track these change orders, look at where we've been in the past and where we've gone. And we're gonna show you, hey, look, we've had, hopefully, I can't guarantee you, but this is the goal, less change orders going forward with this public works director. So there's a tangible asset that we can show the public and say, hey, look, we have this position, we're paying this, and it saved us this. We had this in the past, this is where we're going. So that's been a big thing with the public, and I'm glad you brought that up, Josh. Change orders are a big thing that we're gonna look to reduce. We're not gonna get rid of them all, but we're gonna look to reduce those with this public administration position with Public Works. So, great question. Any further questions on that? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Hughes,
Aye.
Holloway,
Aye.
Sisson,
Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Carol.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Moving on, Alderperson Gerald, you're up again, my friend.
I make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing a change order for Jackson Street reconstruction to Roosters Asphalting Incorporated, and for the amount not to exceed $4,500.
All right, I have a motion on the floor from Alderperson Gerald. Can I get a second, please? All right, Alderperson Huffman seconds. Any discussion on this?
This has been in progress for some time, am I correct on that? Like, we talked about what's been going on there just briefly with that street.
Sure. So Columbia and Jackson, they were both slated to be done last year. However, the water mains were not slated to be replaced, and we really felt strongly that, these water mains were aging, they've had some breaks. So we put the project on delay to replace the water mains first. Now they have been in active construction. They are wrapping up that construction, within the next couple of weeks. So we are toward the end of the project. It'll take about a week or so to, tear out and replace the curbing, and then just a few days to finish paving.
And that's another great question, because I've had people reach out to me about this project. It's been going on for a while, and I think the public gets frustrated when they see a crew all come in and then just stop, because this was not part of the original bid. We had to stop, renegotiate and do the change order. So
Yeah.
that is very frustrating for the public to see, so the more we can minimize this, the better, so great point. Any further discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Hughes,
Aye.
Holloway,
Aye.
Sisson,
Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Gerald,
Aye.
Huffman.
Aye.
Alright, moving on. Alderperson Gerald, you're up again.
I make a motion to award a bid for the milling and resurfacing of East Prairie and Illini Court to Durant, to
DeLorean.
DeLorme Construction for the amount not to exceed $86,648.
Alright, we have a motion on the floor from Alderperson Gerald. Can I get a second, please? Alderperson Huffman, I saw her hand first with the second. Any discussion on this?
Yes,
Mhm.
so I have a question on these two. So we have East Prairie and Illini Court here. Just kind of taking a look at these streets, I mean, they obviously, a lot of our streets need to be addressed, but there are definitely streets across town that are, perhaps in more dire need. Can we explain maybe to the public, why these streets particularly are streets on like a rotation process? Can you kind of explain that to the public here?
Sure. So this subdivision was originally asphalted. This was one of the roads that they oil and chipped last year. We all know that did not go as well as we would have liked. So we had to, we've committed to the public, and rightfully so, to redo all of those streets. We knew that this one was scheduled to be asphalted next year, so we said, okay, we'd be kind of wasting money to oil and chip it again this year and then tear all of that up and asphalt it next year. So we just pushed that up 1 year, to use our funding wisely.
Good question. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Holloway,
Aye.
Sisson,
Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Gerald,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Hughes.
Aye.
Alright, motion carries. Alderperson Zumwalt, please.
I make a motion to award a bid for the demolition of structures at 115 East Corwin and 843 South Montgomery to Stutz Excavating Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $28,350.
Alright, we have a motion on the floor from Alderperson Zumwalt. Can I get a second, please? Alderperson Huffman, seconds. Any discussion on this?
This one, the 115 East Portland, is that the house that's directly, if you're standing on the Raleigh zone, you can look out and see, is that the one there? Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. That's a good one that's been on my sideline.
That's another perfect example of citations making a difference.
Yeah, we appreciate that, guys.
And that is part of the Strong Communities grant, so that we mentioned earlier, so great point.
That makes me very happy.
Alright, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Sisson, Zumwalt,
Aye.
Gerald,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Hughes,
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
Motion carries. Alderperson Zumwalt.
I make a motion to approve a resolution approving and authorizing a demolition agreement for the demolition of a structure located at 314 East Ryder Street.
Alright, we have a motion on the floor from Alderperson Zumwalt. Can I get a second, please? Second from Alderperson Huffman. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Sisson,
Aye.
Zumwalt,
Aye.
Gerald,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Hughes,
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
Motion carries. Alderperson Zumwalt, please.
I make a motion to approve a resolution approving and authorizing, I can't say that word tonight.
I know what you mean.
Authorizing a demolition agreement for the demolition of a structure located at 410 North Jackson Street.
Alright, I have a motion on the floor from Alderperson Zumwalt. Can I get a second, please? Alderperson Huffman with the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Gerald,
Aye.
Huffman,
Aye.
Hughes,
Aye.
Holloway,
Aye.
Sisson,
Aye.
Zumwalt.
Alright, motion carries. Moving on to item number 8, Alderperson Hughes, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a resolution approving a director of public works position.
Alright, we have a motion on the floor. Can I get a second, please? Second from Alderperson Gerald. The floor is now open. Would you like to talk about this one, Brandon, please?
Sure, so we've mentioned, we've referenced this position a few times throughout the meeting. So, we are creating a director of public works position. This is a very common position in municipalities of our size. This individual will oversee, the street department, lake department, water and sewer street superintendent? What about our lake superintendent? Those division heads are staying in place. This position is a higher level of support, to oversee those functions, make sure that the, projects are being coordinated properly, make sure that they have the administrative support they need, and for me, most importantly, to oversee that long-range capital planning. This person will be road mapping, what the next 10, 15 years look like as far as infrastructure upgrades go for the city of Litchfield. So this is a very important position. And again, I do wanna reiterate that this is to work in tandem with the division heads and support their efforts. I also have a letter from, Alderman Garcia that I wanted to read. We will be, if the council approves this position, after executive session, we will be approving the hiring of an individual. This does reference this individual, but I wanted to read it now, because I know that executive session can be long and not everyone sticks around for it. So this says, "Dear City Council members, I am writing to provide an explanation for my absence from the City Council meeting held on July 2nd. I regret that I am unable to attend. I'm on the campus of the University of Mississippi going through orientation with my oldest granddaughter. I remain fully committed to my responsibilities of my role in the work to the City Council. I will make every concerted effort to make future meetings and will continue to contribute the council's efforts in serving the residents of our city. With all of the difficulties the city has had with public works in recent years, it would serve this city well to have one individual overseeing all of the projects that will help keep everything on schedule and help foresee issues and look for ways to help prevent bigger issues. I am formally endorsing Dominic Mazza as the Public Works Director. I believe this is a critical role for our city, and I am confident that Dominic possesses the leadership, expertise, and dedication needed to serve effectively. Dominic has many years of expertise serving in the military and managing a multi-million-dollar business. In addition to technical skills, Dominic is known for possessing great personal qualities such as transparency, collaboration with community groups, commitment to safety standards. I urge you to support Dominic for this position, as his leadership will help ensure our city's infrastructure remains safe, efficient, and responsive to the needs of all residents. Respectfully, Bob Garcia, Alderman of the 4th Ward. So again, this motion is just to approve the position. I just wanted to share that letter at this time since it speaks to the position and the hiring of an individual. So as Mayor Fleming stated, the salary set is $110,000 for the position. We did a study on comparable positions in the area, and that is what we've determined would be appropriate. And then like we just did with our fire chief, that would come with 3 weeks of vacation time.
And this person will report directly to you,
Yes, that's correct.
and the lake, and everybody will report to him.
And I just wanna say, being in on the interviews, like, this candidate just absolutely nailed it. I couldn't be more enthusiastic about, this candidate and what he's gonna bring to the table. I really believe he has a lot of expertise and wisdom to give us, and I'm super excited about him joining the team.
And I honestly was not for this position at the beginning, because we all hear City Hall's top heavy, there's too much administration. But if this person can stop these change orders that we keep having, project after project after project, I think it will be worth it, as Jake has already said.
And I understand that notion, but I think if residents saw the volume of concerns, that passed through the administration office on a day-to-day basis, in addition to, planning for the future of Litchfield, ensuring that day-to-day opportunities are completed, I really truly think that most citizens would see that this position is needed.
And I had initially the same kind of like thoughts in my head, like, oh, it's gonna come across as we're just hiring another, bureaucrat kind of on the stack kind of thing. But again, just like when being in the interview and things like that, him talking about what he does now, the things that he handles now, and seeing that, I was like, we absolutely need somebody to help do these things, because he's got a lot of those things to bring to the table. So looking at that, I think he's gonna be really beneficial in getting a lot of projects done. And I know he's willing and he's ready to take out there and keep it front face with the public to show what he's doing, the progress he's making. And that's a big part of it, is that accountability too. I think he's gonna make a big difference.
And for, if you look at the numbers, we have a $37 million budget and less than 70 full-time employees. So we do run very lean for a city that is doing as much business as we are.
And if you also look at comparable sized cities to ours, they have public works director positions, so this is not uncommon.
These are great points, and one thing I do wanna say, in terms of just capital planning, it's never been more important, and we're not alone. All this infrastructure, for the most part, that's underground was built 100 years ago, 80 years ago. It's not just Litchfield, it's all of Central Illinois, because that was the thing to do at the time, and now it's all aging. So getting a really good capital plan in place that reduces those change orders, gets the new infrastructure where we need to be, and then we track our data better, which we're track our data, but even better, this is what this person's gonna help with. I think that's gonna go a long way, and to kind of correspond with, we had the ordinance officer come in and give a report. This public works person is gonna be coming in, letting people know what's going on with their infrastructure, because a lot of people have questions about that.
Well, I think too, you look at the problems we've had over the last couple of years. I think it was a couple of years ago, we had big rains that come in, and a lot of people's basements were flooded, people lost very important things to them. We continue to see every time we get these big rains, which I don't know, how we suddenly begin getting all these massive, floods as we have. I mean, these are consistent problems that need to be addressed. Sewer lines and those types of things are problems that we need, or not just an idea of, well, we're gonna go in and piecemeal fix this, but having a person who sat in the office, did the planning, has come up with a structure and a plan of how we're gonna attack this to get this done and redo that so that our city doesn't have some of those same issues that we've been having. And I think that works for a lot of projects, but I mean, that one alone is a huge concern on, I think, all of our minds, because we know that ultimately, right now, the city recognizes that we can't just go in and dig all the sewer pipes up and fix it overnight. But if we don't set that plan in motion for the next 20 to 25 years, yeah, that is gonna be on this council's back. So, absolutely.
Great point. Any further discussion on this? Yep.
One last thing, the operational, so obviously I communicate a lot with you when issues come up. When things like this, obviously now he's gonna be the go-between, between you and the department head. How would you like me or us to address those issues? Should we be contacting Dominic, in regards to those issues now?
The council can still direct any issues to me, and then I'll delegate to Dominic as necessary, or I may tell you, hey, Dominic is working on this, reach out directly to him, but definitely, if you continue to funnel your concerns to me, that'll just help all of us stay on the same page.
Cool. Great question. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Zumwalt.
Aye.
Huffman.
Aye.
Hughes.
Aye.
Holloway.
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Carroll.
All right, motion carries. Moving on, holding a motion to enter into executive session as allowed under the Illinois Open Meeting Act as found in Chapter 5 of the Illinois Compiled Statutes, Section 120, to address these certain and restricted items. Right?
Thank you, Mayor. Discussion and minutes of meeting lawfully closed under this act. 5 ILCS 120/2, 2C21. Appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance of specific employees of the public body. 5 ILCS 120/2, 2C1. Litigation when an action against affecting on behalf of the particular body has been filed or is imminent. 5 ILCS 120/2, 2C11. And finally, the setting of a price for the sale or lease of property owned by the public body. 5 ILCS 120/2, 226.
All right, can I get a motion to that effect? I have a motion from Alderperson Zumwalt and a second. Alderperson Huffman, I saw your hand first. Alderperson Huffman seconds. Roll call, please.
Huffman.
Aye, sorry. I did think I would be first.
Holloway.
Aye.
Hughes.
Aye.
Sisson.
Aye.
Carroll.
Aye.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. We are now in closed session, so if you're in the public, please make your way out. Kyle, did you watch that soccer game?
I didn't get to, I was paper night, so.